Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are back here today for the next Ultimate Showcase video, and this one is going to be on Mr. Fantastic. Now, this is going to be, I believe, my 9th Science Rank 3 champion. I believe it's number 9. It might be number 10. Not entirely sure. But, you know, I was pretty dead set on taking Overseer up to rank 3 as my next Science, right? And he's still probably definitely gonna go up. But I just really fell in love with playing Mr. Fantastic recently over the past like 2 months or so. And the only thing that was holding me back for so long was that I had a rank 5 Sig 200 Mr. Fantastic, right? But the thing is, I just don't use 5 stars anymore. So if I want to ever use this guy, it's going to be the 6 star. I want him at rank 3. I have the Human Torch at rank 3, you know. I have She-Hulk at rank 3, who is a great synergy partner for Mr. Fantastic. I have, obviously, Spidey 2099 benefits a lot from the pre-fights that I could bring along as well for a boss or whatever in the future. So I want to be able to use this guy if I'm going to bring him for synergy, you know? And I feel like he's such an amazing, underrated champion. One of the best science champs in the game at the moment. I really do believe after his buff. He can do, there's so much he can do. And we're definitely, this is the full science roster, by the way. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this was recorded a very long time ago. I've recently duped Wasp since, right? So yeah, so this is the current science roster plus some shiny stars on Wasp. All right, lots of great champions up at rank 3, and I feel like Mr. Fantastic is joining a very solid squad and a very strong class, man. Very strong class. You know, back in the day, I used to be upset getting so many science catalysts, but now, man, give me more. Give me more. If I'm going to be taking, you know, Spidey probably to rank 4, that's 2 catalysts, man. I have 3 at the moment. One's probably going to Overseer. That means I got none left. So give me more. I need more. There's a bunch of champions I want to take up, man. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool fights in this video today. Some with suicides, most without. We're going to go over what Mr. Fantastic can do. You know, if you're interested in seeing more so Mr. Fantastic like on his own, I did the Is Mr. Fantastic Underrated video like 2 months ago or so. You can go ahead and check that out. That was with like a rank 2 Sig 60 back then. So if you're interested in seeing that, go do that. But we're going to be, you know, really pimping this guy out today, bringing the Fantastic Four synergy along, the Doctor Doom synergy, the She-Hulk synergy. We're going to be having a lot of fun with this guy. Up first, man, we have a pretty freaking nutty fight. All right, man, so we're starting with a very fun one today, and this is going to be the champion boss in 6.2. You guys know I love this fight. Now, I have done this fight many different times with Mr. Fantastic, pre-buff and post-buff, all on my channel if you want to see the different rotations and strategies, right? Now, in the past, I've always, you know, went with the no pre-fight method. All right, which is just consistently taking him down with the stagger on the special one. But I kind of like this way a little bit better. I'm going to go over exactly what we're doing here. We're taking full advantage of the amazing Doctor Doom synergy here. Now, what that's going to be doing is essentially giving Mr. Fantastic Mystic Dispersion. Watch when these buffs expire. Watch my power. When they expire. Give it a second. They're about to expire. Check it out right here. From 0 bars all the way up to 50% of our max power. We gain a lot of power against Cosmic Champions whenever their buffs go away. This is absolutely a phenomenal thing, a phenomenal piece of utility with an absolutely amazing champion in Doctor Doom. And keep in mind, Mr. Fantastic has a great synergy for Doom as well. Essentially, you know, gives him that armor break on the heavy attack, which is so great. That nice evade on Mr. Fantastic's kit, by the way, is saving us a lot of block damage. Really awesome stuff. Okay, so the new strategy in this fight here is I want to ramp all the way up and take advantage of that Mystic Dispersion synergy, and now I want to get to a special 3 and do some big damage. All right, so we're going to take advantage of that synergy again. All right, so as you can see, we keep putting on those staggers, we're getting rid of buffs, right? waiting for these buffs to fall off, and it's not going to be hard to get up to a special 3 here, okay? So we're almost there. Look at that Mystic Dispersion synergy. It's doing absolutely wonderful stuff. Special 1. Ooh, look at that evade. Absolutely gorgeous, right? So at this point, I'm past 2 bars. I'm saying to myself, okay, let's knock him down with a heavy attack, and now let's get that Fury going. We're all ramped up. We have our 3 suppress, okay? That's going to be huge for controlling his power, all right? So I want to bait out a special attack, ideally, from this guy here. Then I want to knock him down. I want to parry and go for a special attack, okay? So keep in mind the champion now is at 77%. All right, we're gonna go for a special 3, which we get a Fury with the potency is based on how many debuffs are on the defender. So now we have a nice beefy Fury here, and watch our power this entire time. Watch how much we're going to control the fight. Watch the champion's power. Watch our power. The power stings are going. Watch how he's not getting unstoppable buffs. Look at our power. And look at his power. And look at the damage we're doing with this Fury. Look at how we're controlling his buffs. And he's not gaining power. He's gaining power, but that suppression is incredibly strong. We're keeping him in the corner. We're chaining our special attacks. He can't do anything here. He just cannot do a single thing. He's getting the power stings as well. We're intercepting nicely, right? And now he's down to the final 10%, dude. Absolutely awesome stuff. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have let that suppress buff fall off at that point, because now it's going to be hard to get him up to a, a special 1, right? So that's one downside there. That's a very, very rare occurrence where it's like bad when you can't get the opponent to a special, like, a bar of a power. But in reality, that suppression buff is so strong. It's such a wonderful piece of utility and helps Mr. Fantastic control so many fights in such an amazing way. He starts with one of them, and just 2 special 2s is all you need. To fully ramp up, man, for that suppression. Now, you can even go even further with it with your masteries. If you have, I believe it's the Pacify or Petrify mastery as well, where you're essentially giving them like absolutely no power while they're stunned, and you're fully ramped up. And I say fully ramped up as if it's like a hard thing to do. You have to go for 2 special 2s, which is absolutely nothing. And it's easier to do so if you have the Dr. Doom synergy and there are buffs, or if you're awakened, right? You're gonna get more combat power rate. But the champion, man, was just completely nuked and flushed down the toilet here, and the fight was controlled the entire time very, very well. When I think of Mr. Fantastic, that's what I think of. I think of absolute fight control from top to bottom. And that's what I love about him so much. So we're going to go for Mordo here in 6.2.5, right? So we're going to start out with some of the hardest bosses in all of Act 6, and then we have some more as well, and some utility to throw in there too. Like I said, I already made that big Mr. Fantastic video like 2 months ago, so I don't want to do too much overlap. Like, you guys already know he has amazing regen reversal and power reversal, right? So let's see how he does in some practical setups, and keep in mind, this is a very realistic team here. We're not running the full Fantastic Four at this time. We're definitely going to in this video, but not right now. So as you can see here, we have the Petrify on Mordo, which is going to be great for controlling Spite. All right, now this Petrify is going to be really great for controlling Spite because it's 45, or is it 40% on its own, 80% with 2 of them, and it's going to start reversing the power when we get to one more special 2. Then we're going to be reversing it completely, okay? So Mordo threw 3 special 1s. So that means that we have our increased combat power rate from our SIG ability. And like I said, my Mr. Fantastic is like SIG 60, right? And when you run the Suicide Masteries, look at his power. Look at his power, it's just stalled. When you run the Suicide Masteries, his damage is like pretty decent without the Fury, man. But from most of this video, it's gonna be without it. So his damage is decent without it, but it's without the Fury, but it's amazing with it, without the Suicide Masteries. With them, I really like his damage without going for the special 3. It's even better with it. Look at his power. You probably can't see, it's probably behind this, but it's just literally being reversed. From Spite, the power's just being reversed. Here we ate a combo, but the evade saved us. Really, really, really solid stuff, man. At this point, after you get your 2 special 2s, you have 9 debuffs always on the opponent. So that's a lot of additional attack that you have. That evade is just so nice and so helpful for when you mess up, right? At this point, we're looking to go for a special 3 and finish off the fight. We're going to probably kill him with the special 3 just about, but if not, we're going to go right in and finish him off very, very quickly, all right? So we're going to punch him through all the portals, absolutely wonderful, and 1%. Punch's power. It's going in reverse. Going to hold that heavy attack, knock him down, and tap him. So yeah, that was a very, very efficient takedown, of course, right? Now we'll go over like a quick optimal loop with him with a really fun team. We're going to be throwing in the full Fantastic Four along with another 5-star Mr. Fantastic for some additional 30% damage for the Council of Reed synergy. This is like, you know, Mr. Fantastic at his best. I love this team here. He is so good with this team, man. The whole Fantastic Four is so much better with the other 3 members. Thing, Human Torch, Invisible Woman is still kind of, you know, decent, above average, slightly underrated, no doubt about it. But the other 3 are just so good for so many different things, you know. So what I like to do here is I like to go for my 2 special 2s or just my 1 special 2 if I'm running suicides. Here I'm not running suicides, so my damage is a little bit lower. But what you can do here with the Invisible Woman synergy is that you have longer debuffs. So you can go medium, 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 light, 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 medium, get some 7-hit combos in, which is really, really awesome. It's really, really sick stuff. But yeah, basically I want to just ramp all the way up here, and like I said, you can even call it ramping up, like you're just going for special attacks. And now 3 petrifies, 3 suppressions, and 3 siphons. More often than not, the siphon won't be doing too much for you in most fights, right? Here's that medium, 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 light, 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 medium. We have the increased combat power rate from the special 1, and as you can see, he's just not gaining any power. We're doing full 5-hit combos, and he's gaining like 10% of a bar of power. So it's really just solid stuff, man, as you can see here, right? Now we're going to go for a parry to get the weakness from the full Fantastic Four synergy and the stun, because those count as debuffs for additional fury potency as well. Now, if you run the Resonate Mastery, which I don't, you can get even another debuff there, which is really, really great, right? But now 17k mediums, pretty much 12k light attacks, the void type passive damage, that 37k heavy attack, by the way, right? You get that void type passive damage from the full Fantastic Four synergy here, and he was dead before we got to go for the big special 2. So this guy's damage is super good and super underrated, especially when you get that passive damage from the full Fantastic Four synergy. So here again, we're running that with the She-Hulk synergy. So we also have the power stings, right? We're going in, we got 9 persistent charges. I was having so much fun using him on the path to get up to Sabretooth as well. This fight, you know, it's got no retreat, oscillate, indomitable, so we can't reverse his healing, but we can mitigate it, right? That's one thing also with Mr. Fantastic is you do preferably want to be running Despair because there are so many debuffs, right? So it's very simple to just cut out all healing, and if there is healing, you can reverse it very, very, very efficiently. And again, you can go check out my previous Mr. Fantastic video if you want to see like a full showcase on that. But this would be a place where like the Resonate Mastery would be nice, right? Is it, there's Resonate and there's another mastery too. I forget the name of it, that also reduces like their attack based on how many of the debuffs that you have. So that mastery would be really, really good in this scenario because there are just so many debuffs that are going to be on Sabretooth here the entire fight. That's going to go a long way in mitigating his fury, right? But we're just running, you know, normal suicide masteries here with a solid team. And as you can see, we're just doing some good damage here, man. That's essentially the plan. We're just going to go up against the Sabretooth and just out damage him. Definitely taking some chip damage. That's fine. You know, we wouldn't be taking as much chip damage if we weren't running the suicide masteries against this guy, but it is what it is. Not the biggest deal in the world. As long as you get the fight down, that's pretty much the most important thing here, right? So yeah, the Power Sting synergy is also very, very nice. As you can see, it's going to be putting in a little bit of work every time he throws a special attack. Look at all those debuffs, man. Absolutely amazing. And he's just ticking down. That nice Fantastic Four synergy is so good. We're just evading naturally his special attacks. Absolutely beautiful, right? Controls the fight so freaking well. This is going to be an interesting one. We're going for a 6.1 Ultron here, and we're going to be throwing on, just for fun, the Odin pre-fights, okay? The reason why I'm going for this is because there's Spite, all right? So it's going to take a little bit of ramping up, right? Again, to get to that special 2 so I can start reversing his power, but we're essentially always going to be having buffs here. Now, there is EMP modification, so that Odin buff, that is going to go a long way in mitigating, right, some of that shock damage. It's not going to do all the way, but it's going to make us 90% resistant here, so it's not too bad, right? Shout out to the evade again, but we did eat a heavy. That's all right. Not the biggest deal in the world. This guy just likes to evade like crazy, right? So we're going to go for our special 2 here in just a second, all right? That's going to set us up with 2 petrifies, and now Spite is still going. It's still going. But we're about to lock him down. We're almost there. We're almost there. Don't worry. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to that special 2. All right. And then at that point, the fight is pretty much on lockdown. Okay. He's gonna consistently be having his power reversed, not even just mitigated, reversed. Right. Which is huge. And at this point, here we go. Parry. And let's go for it, man. Watch his power for the rest of the fight. That's what it's going to be like, because we're always going to have buffs because of the combo party node and also the Odin aptitudes, right? So that's going to go a really, really long way in controlling his power, because you also have to keep in mind the suppression buff, right? We have all 3 suppression debuffs up now, so we're hardly giving him power. So at the same time as hardly giving him power, we're also reversing his power. So this fight is essentially over. There's just nothing here that can stop us. EMP modification is essentially turned off, right? We probably didn't even need the Odin aptitude here. We probably could have just, like, you know, slow played it, got to the special 2s, and then started reversing him. But I guess the, well, no, because there's the cruelty. So yeah, we probably didn't need it. But anyway, we're going to go for the special 3 now. We're going to get a nice, big, fat Fury, and let's see what we can do here. Some nice 15k light attacks. Definitely decent, right? I'd love to see a nice crit on the heavy attack. But we do have that debuff that lowers our crit chance because he evaded, right? But look at all the evades we're doing, man. I do believe you have 5% chance per non-damaging debuff on either champion to evade. And we have some on us and some on him. Ooh, nice big hit. He got us right in the face, though. So yeah. Again, this is just a perfect example of Mr. Fantastic controlling the whole freaking fight, man. He steps into the battle realm and he just controls it from top to bottom. That's what I love about this guy, right? And up next, we have Symbiote Supreme in, I think it's 6.2.1 here. Pilfer regen, prey on the weak, right? All this other stuff. Doesn't really matter. What's so fun is that, you know, Mr. Fantastic kind of works similar to the way that, like, Spidey 29.9 works, the way he can just consistently reverse power like this from the get-go, right? So, obviously, Spidey with the anti-venom synergy is a lot stronger for this, because you start with minus 125%. We're starting here with minus 40%, but in most scenarios, that is more than enough to get all the way up to another special 2 and turn that 40% into an 80% now, all right? And now we're going to be close to getting to 120% when we get to another special 2. However, this Symbiote Supreme is going to be dead long before that happens. One downside to Mr. Fantastic, no doubt about it, is that his heavy attack kind of pushes him back, so you can't really, like, chain it more than 2 to 3 times in the corner like that, which is a little unfortunate. There's also life cycle here, so we have to do this. Going to knock him down, and that passive damage is going to nuke him out and flush him right down the toilet. But yeah, again, another really wonderful fight, controlled right from the start from Mr. Fantastic. Up next is a really interesting one, man. We got Iron Man Infinity War in 6.3.5 or 6.3.4. Definitely a very tough boss. Just because it's a big, beefy Iron Man Infinity War, you do want a good counter for this guy, right? So he's got Armor Break Immunity, Arc Overload, and improved power gain. There's a lot of stuff there, man, that makes that last 15% tough. So, you guys think we can get off 2 special 2s before we get Iron Man down to the last 15% of his health? I personally think we have a pretty decent shot of doing that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like a little confident that we can do that. Get off 2 special 2s before he gets all the way down to 15%. So as long as we do that, we don't have to worry about that last 15%. Now, we can't reverse the healing on the Arc Overload. However, we can block it. And right now we're absolutely blocking it. So Mr. Fantastic really has everything going on for him in this fight, believe it or not. This is actually a very solid matchup for him. So I'm just kind of taking this slow. Just pretty much playing it safe. I just want to have a good time and go for my special twos and just like really control this guy down. As you could see here, even like with only 2 suppressed debuffs, right? We're controlling his power very nicely. We're about to get our 3rd one, and now we're pretty much fully ramped up, right? And that's all it takes. That's all it takes, man. And from here on out, in my mind, it's like once I get my 2 special twos off of Mr. Fantastic, the fight really is over, as long as those don't fall off. Just take a moment and really look at Iron Man's power bar here. We just did a full 5-hit combo. It went up about 15%. The heavy attack takes him up about 5% of a bar of power, right? Maybe that was maybe 10%. 10 hit. Now, I don't even know, though. It seems almost inconsistent. It's just because if he's stunned, it's less because of that mastery, because of the Petrify or Pacify mastery, whichever one it is. That's what it is there. So yeah, the power control that he has, man, in so many different ways, it's just great. It's just so, you know, when you think of the science class, there's heal reversal from Human Torch, there's power reversal from Spidey 2099, there's a lot of energy and physical resistance all over the class, right? Mr. Fantastic has some of that as well. There's evading, right? And, you know, of course, there's Void, who does very similar things to Mr. Fantastic as well, but he's a little more RNG based, and he takes a little bit longer to get going. So personally, I definitely prefer Mr. Fantastic to Void. They are very similar champions. I just don't love the RNG aspect of Void. I like starting with the Petrify on Mr. Fantastic. I think that's very, very amazing utility, that they can just start fresh out of the gate with it. He also has a Nullify on his special one. I just feel like Mr. Fantastic does a lot more than Void does, a lot better, especially if you have the full Fantastic Four synergy with you, and you get that passive type damage going on too, just like Void has. So you're really getting everything that Void has, plus more in my opinion, with less RNG, and you don't need to be at a super high sig in order to see all the benefits, right? So yeah, that's just how I feel about it personally. I know some people still prefer Void over Mr. Fantastic. I don't agree, but I do respect your opinion. I just feel like Mr. Fantastic is more versatile, especially going forward in the game in 2022 with all, you know, the newest content and everything coming out. I just feel he's got more going on. But yeah, man. So I feel like I've shown this fight before, so we're not going to show the whole thing. Maybe we'll skip forward just a little bit. But this is Abyss Darkhawk, right? I think I did this pre-buff and post-buff, and I did it with the rank too. So how many more times do we have to see it? You know, this video is already 20 minutes long. I think we're good. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to do 2 special twos, right? We're doing the special twos here. We did both of them. Boom. There we go. Right? And now what's going to happen is, if you don't know what happened, it's pretty freaking cool. All right? Watch. We're knocking him down. He's got 3 petrifies up. And now watch us healing. That's a lot of health. That's a lot of health. It's over 3 million health, and he's losing like, what, 5 or 6 or 7% each time. And again, this is without Resonate, right? So we can go even further here. We can have even more debuffs, right? But I don't have that mastery. I didn't use it, so I'm not going to use it here. Even though it's good mastery form. It's a good mastery form, but I'm just not going to use it. So yeah, this fight is amazing for Mr. Fantastic. It is so good. And he doesn't need synergy to do this. He does need Despair. You gotta have the Despair mastery on. But he doesn't need the full Fantastic Four synergy. Of course, that nice passive damage is definitely going to make this fight a little bit faster. Probably like 2 or 3 regen cycles faster. So you're going to save like, what, 60 seconds or so? That's nice. But, you know, if you're going into Abyss and you don't have a good Darkhawk counter, Mr. Fantastic can do a lot of fights in the Abyss, man. I believe MSD made a video of soloing, I think, 11 or 12 fights with only Mr. Fantastic and She-Hulk. So that's a very, very versatile duo for stuff like Abyss and that really big content with giant health pools. Look at all that health we're reversing, man. It's just nuts. Super nuts, right? Mega nuts. Macadamia nuts, pistachios. What's your favorite kind of nut? Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite kind of nut is. If you're watching this fight right now, you don't have to if you don't want to. Comment something about Mr. Fantastic instead. Let me know if you like this guy. But also tell me your favorite nut. I'm curious now. So, right? Obviously, I think we took a hit here. That's why we're down to 27 hits at this point. But he just controls these fights so freaking well, man. And that's what I love about this guy. Just every fight that he's in, it's just, he just wraps it around his finger, man. Because it's like, when you think about it, it's like, oh, yeah, he, you know, controls combat power rate, but if there's passive power gain, he probably is not going to do... No, he has the petrifies. It's like, oh, yeah, he can control passive power gain, but what if, you know, you give him too much power the other way? It's like, no, he also has the combat power rate reduction. So he really, really controls the opponent's power in a very special way, man. It's like I said, it's not as instant as Spidey 2099, which is what is appealing about Spidey to me, is that, like, right from the get-go, man, you're done. You enter the fight against the Mystic Champion, and the fight's already over. With Mr. Fantastic, you gotta get to at least, you really want at least one special 2, right, before you really start controlling that power, you know? But his power control is... I don't know if I want to say it's arguably better, because I feel like Spidey's is better just because of how strong it is, right? But he can also control the combat power rate, which is just, it's huge, man. It's Abyss Darkhawk down in 100 hits. It's nuts. Now we'll look at some utility stuff, right? I'm gonna go into like 7.3. Nodes like this, man, he's just so good for stuff. There's so many nodes like this, man. You know, first of all, on-demand debuffs it's a utility in itself. You can use them for any champion when you need debuff. So if it's like, you know, what is it, like Paradox debuff, you gotta put a debuff on the opponent, something like that. You want to put the Petrify on Dr. Doom, just turn him off from the beginning. You can do that. You could bring in, let's say you want to fight Dr. Doom with Karnak, for all I freaking care. You want to use Karnak for Dr. Doom. Well, guess what? You put the Petrify on, and then you can use Karnak for Dr. Doom. Why not? That's amazing utility, man. You don't even need to be ranked up to do that. I love that, right? So let's check this out. Power Suppression. Whenever a Science attacker activates a special attack, they have a 100% chance to enervate the defender for 6 seconds, preventing them from gaining power when struck. Not that that's even an issue. Whenever this enervate would expire, it consumes 1 debuff on the defender to reply itself. Now there's also Power Snack here, Feat of Energy, all this other BS, right? But Mr. Fantastic is going to do a really great job of like negating a lot of that, because he's going to put the Petrifies on the opponent, and then Power Snack's not going to be that big of a deal. Also, the Enervate is even stronger than the Suppression, right? And they're like, what's the Spider-Gwen has the Enervate too, right? So it really, like, you know, the Suppression, it's like, it really feels very science-y to me. You know, like the Science class, I feel like it has a clear identity, you know. A lot of them are immune to Nullify, a lot of them don't have buffs. There's power control, there's regen control. The Science class is just a very strong, niche class of very interesting attackers to me, man. And I think they're very great for competitive gameplay like Alliance War and also the new Battleground solo competitive mode. And they're also sneaky good for act content too, man. So I really, you know, I'm feeling blessed to be cursed with Skill and Science. Those are 2 of my favorite classes in the game. Mutant's the best class. I don't think you could really argue that at this point, but Science and Skill are my favorites, man. So despite being frustrated when I get a billion catalysts of each, at the end of the day, I'm happy to have 10 or more of each class, and I still have 3 Science catalysts and 2 Skill catalysts, man. You know what? I want even more. I want even more of them. So yeah, they're just really great champions to have ranked up, because some of the worst defenders, they're Mystics, you know, and some of them just hard counter. They just hard counter some of the worst Mystic champions in the entire game. So honestly, I kind of missed commentating this fight because I was talking about Science champions. But as you can see, he did a really good job, and this is a pretty tough lane. Another pretty tough lane is this one right here. This one gave me a really hard time in 7.1. One of the only hard lanes in 7.1 in my opinion. So Vivified, Power Suppression, which is that same node that we just fought. Also Power Alternator. Okay? So, what you really want here is to have a lot of debuffs on a Science champion, right? And I mean, Mr. Fantastic's got a lot of debuffs. He's gonna do really well here. He's gonna do a good job. That's why we brought him in to showcase him here. And there's a lot of other places we could showcase him, but I already did that. I already made that video with the rank 2, and you're not gonna see much of a difference out of rank 3, right? Maybe we ate the special one to show the energy resistance. Yeah, that's what we did there. Also, when you do eat a special attack, it quickens up the ramp up, right, for getting those careful study passives. So yeah, I totally did that on purpose. No doubt about it, right? For you guys. I see what I do for you. See that? It's nice, right? So yeah, basically, at this point, we're going to go for a special 2, right? And now, we got that Enervate. It's a really nice thing. Now we have 6 debuffs here, 7 debuffs here with the Shock. And when that Enervate runs out, it's going to eat a debuff, you know, and it's going to keep that Enervate going. So essentially, we're going to pretty much lock Jane Foster down here for the rest of the fight. There is Power Alternator, and with Vivify, you know, the Petrify is not going to do anything for us here. So this is a pretty rough node here. It's a tough lane in general. It really is, you know. But Mr. Fantastic is doing a very, very good job locking down this fight. I don't think he would have much of a problem with the rest of the lane either, right? So yeah, man, this guy, he's just freaking solid, man. He's just absolutely solid. I got one more boss fight to show you too. Oh, watch out for that kick. Got one more boss fight to show you here. And you know what? It's a bit of a generic one, right? It's Thor, right? And a lot of people can do this fight. A lot of champs can do this fight, right? I've done this fight with so many champs. This is one that I use when I'm like, what other boss can I do? I'll do Thor, right? Because it's a skill-based fight in a way, because there's power reserve, so he's always got the power, and he's always got, you know, aspect of death or whatever. If it touches you, you're dead. But Mr. Fantastic really does counter this fight in such a wonderful way. Just because what's tough here is that, you know, you gotta be using your special attacks here against Thor at the right time, or else he's gonna get up to a special 3, right? Also, he has unblockable special attacks, and Mr. Fantastic has a very high chance of evading those if you mess up. So a lot of things here Mr. Fantastic is just very, very good for. So, again, we're gonna ramp up a little bit here, right? We're gonna go for the special 2. And now we got a Petrify and the Suppression, right? 2 of each. So I want to get back to another special 2. And you're going to see, man, like everything that Thor has going on in this boss fight is essentially shut down, right? Because we're going to let his power just like dwindle, and we're not going to give him any power while hitting him. So it's going to be a very, very powerful way to control this fight. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show it to you yet because we're going to go for the special 2, right? But you can see right here a little bit, it's like not really up. You see, we're going back a little bit, but don't worry, we'll trigger it again. We'll definitely trigger it again, right? But we're up at 99% health still. And now at this point, we're not really giving him power. See, watch, look. That's a full 5-hit combo, and he's still a solid like 10% underneath, right? At this point, we gotta knock him down, of course. And you'll see he's about to get his Boon of the Gods, and watch his power. It's actually going to be going in reverse. So that is a very, very powerful thing. And of course, you know, Spidey can do this too. Yeah, Void can do that too, but there's some more RNG to it, you know? But just really solid stuff, man. But now the best thing about it is that Mr. Fantastic has that giant beefy Fury on the special 3. That's one thing that's so good about him, is that he's not just a utility champ, and the best part about it, he doesn't have to trade his utility for the damage. There's a lot of champions who do need to trade their utility for damage. He builds up his utility and then uses that utility to give him more damage. I absolutely love the way that works. Look at that, big special 2, right? And that's gonna be it. You're done. You're done, Thor. RagnaGOD, I love you, man, but I'm sorry, that's it. You're just flushed down the toilet, my dude. It's just it. I mean, what I feel like we saw here today from Mr. Fantastic, I feel like we just saw dominance the entire time. He isn't always the fastest champ, right? But I never, ever, ever, in any of these fights, every single one took just one take, first go, right? I never, for 1 second, felt like I had any chance of losing any of those fights, you know? So he's not always the fastest starter in the entire game. He doesn't blast out. He doesn't do medium, light, medium, light, medium, parry, heavy special 2, and then do a 150k special 2, like Cosmic Ghost Rider. You know, he doesn't do that. He doesn't have an enormous special 2 while reversing power like Spidey 2099 does. He doesn't have Nova Flames like Torch while he's reversing regen. But what he does have that's very unique is that suppression mechanic, man. On top of having the Petrify as well. right? And also when I need big damage, when I ramped up my utility, well, I got my freaking massive Fury on the special 3. And it really is never disappointing to see those giant yellow numbers from this guy. And you know what, man? After you're ramped up, there's really nothing stopping you from chaining those special 3s to consistently keep that damage super high the entire time. So I know a lot of people out there who still think this guy is like a, what do people say, a noodle? Which I don't really like that term for champions in this game. But a lot of people think he's like a noodle, hits like a noodle. He does. He just doesn't, man. He just absolutely doesn't. That Fury is freaking massive, man. And the utility this guy has is just absolutely off the charts. So super stoked about this rank up, man. It's making me want to rank up other Fantastic Four members that I recently duped to rank 3, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to sleep on that one, man. Maybe at least to rank 2. But I think my next rank 3 is probably going to be Overseer. I think he's pretty darn cool. But yeah, I think there's a bunch of science champs I still want to get ranked up. Cap Infinity War, if he ever gets duped, I'd put 6 stones in that guy. I'd consider putting 6 stones in Thing. I was thinking about Electro for the Battlegrounds mode. Could be kind of cool. Maybe Alliance War defense. I guess Miles has his place in the game too. Not my favorite champ though. But yeah, man, I don't know. I guess only time will tell and see who I rank up next. But right now, I'm very happy with the Science roster, and I'm very excited to see who I rank up next. I'm interested to see what decisions I make, because right now, I have no clue. But anyway, my dudes, that is going to be it for this Ultimate Showcase video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Comment what you think about Mr. Fantastic in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future Ultimate Showcase videos coming to you in the future. I'll be seeing you around.